right, so in this video, we're going to cover conditional statements as well as going over how type conversion works in Python. So let's get into it. I guess let's actually cover type conversion first and just go over that quickly so you know how that works. So in Python, the types won't be automatically converted. So we got to do it ourselves. So we'll go like this. Let's say a is equal to, we'll say 10 right now. So that's the number. And say we wanted to convert that to a string. We could go like this and say print. And then in order to convert that to a string, we'd go str like that. And then we can pass in that a like that. And then that will be converted to a string. Now these will look the same, but this is now a string. So now let's copy this down a few more times and see how we can convert to some other types here. So imagine we wanted this to be a float. We can just go like this and say float like this. And now we can see that our value is a float. So that works for that. And now let's bring this back. And what if we wanted it to be a Boolean? So we can go bool like this, and that's going to be true. Now, this is only true because the falsy values in Python are going to be 0. They're going to be empty string like this. They're going to be the none value, or they're going to be an empty array. So those are going to be all of your falsy values. So if it's not one of those, which for us it isn't because it's 10, it will be true. And that's why we're getting true when we convert it to a Boolean like so. All right, so the last thing that we can do for type conversion is we can convert it to a an int. So let's bring this here and we'll just go int. Now it's already an int. So let's imagine we turn this to a string like this. Now we can convert it to an int like that, and we get 10. All right, so that is all you need to know about type conversion, or at least enough of what you need to know about type conversion. So let's go like this and comment those out. And now let's handle conditional statements. So in order to do this, I think the best way will just be to go over an example here. So let's start with a count here, and we'll just say that is equal to, we'll say 12, like this, just a random count. And like a lot of languages, we can do an if statement here for our conditional. So we'll say if count is less than 10, and we're going to do a colon like this, and that's how you do it in Python. And then we'll just print out, and we'll say count is less than 12, like that. All right, and then that should work for us. All right, so you can see here we're not getting anything. But if we adjust our count here to be less than 10, you can see now we get the printed message. So this is how a conditional will work in Python. Now there's a couple other parts of this that we can add on. So we can add something called an elif like this, and that's going to be your else if statement. And we can say count is equal to, we'll say 8 right now. And then again the colon. And then come down and we can say print count is equal to 8 like this, and count is equal, we'll change this actually to 11, and we'll just change this to 11 just so we can see that, and we can see count is equal to 11 like that. Okay, so that's our elif there. And then finally, if we come down here, we can do an else to cap things off. And we'll just say print count is, we will say greater than, and for this we'll say 12 like this, and we will say 13 is our count. All right, so that is how we're going to do our conditional statements. So that is pretty good. I think that covers most of it. Let's comment that out right there. Come down below here. And the kind of last thing I want to cover here is the logical operators. So the logical operators in Python are and, or not. And these allow us to work with conditional statements in interesting ways. So let's cover some of that. Let's come down here. All right, so with these logical operators, we can do stuff like this where we say if count is greater than 10 and count is less than 20. So greater than 10 and less than 20 is going to be between those two. We can say print, and we'll say count is in between, like this. Okay, and then if we come down, we can see count is 13, so in between 10 and 20, and we get the output we'd expect with count is in between. All right, so that is good. Now imagine, let's come down and do another example here of the not operator. So not in JavaScript and stuff, we just use the bang. Here we can use the actual keyword not. So let's imagine we have an is available like this, and that's going to be equal to false. And then we come down below here and we can do another conditional if statement where we say if not is available like this, and we will print is true, and then else we'll print is false like this. So because we've added this not keyword here, we're getting is true because we're saying right now this is available is equal to false. So not false would be true. So that is how that is going to work. Then finally, the last thing we'll do here is we'll say if count is equal to, what do we put count? 13. Like that. And we can use the or keyword like this, or count is equal, we'll say, we'll just say 14 for now. We will print out count is 13 or 14 like that. And you can see up here, if we scroll up, count is 13 or 14 because this condition is true because our count is 13. So it's one of these. So if it's either of these, we will be able to print out this statement here. All right, so that's it for conditional statements and logical operators and type conversion. See you in the next one.